What's up, Anime Pasadena? Let me hear you make some noise. All right. A nice crowd. Well, welcome to the one and only Hazbin Hotel panel. Before we get started, I, of course, want to introduce you to all of our panelists who don't actually need an introduction because we know and love them so well. This is going to be a little bit of an acrobatic feat. I'm going to say all the names first, then you applaud, okay? You got it? All right, we have Blake Roman, Amir Talai, Krystina, Alabado, Joel Perez, Kimiko Glenn, and Sam Haft. Now you can clap. You guys failed the test, by the way. Completely disregarded the rules. All right, so how you guys doing?
So good.
Very nice.
It's nice to be in a theater.
Yeah, we belong.
Indeed. I want to make everyone here aware, this should be obvious, but you are obviously entering a spoiler zone for all of season 1, just so you know. So if you haven't watched the show for some weird reason, and you don't want it spoiled, you're in the wrong place. I just felt like I needed to let you guys know that. Also, there may be time for audience questions towards the end, so if you have a question, write it down in your phone now so you don't forget. So when that time comes, got it. I want to start off with a question for everyone, and we can start with Blake, and we'll go down the line here.
Yes. I'm for
Where were you?
Yeah?
Where were you, and what did you think about... Let me rephrase my question. Where were you when you heard about booking Hazbin Hotel?
Sorry.
You're good.
We had too much coffee.
Where were you when you heard about Hazbin Hotel and you got the script, and what were your initial thoughts?
I mean, I auditioned for it. The first time I heard about it was when I auditioned for it.
Okay.
And so they sent out the breakdown of, a bunch of, to me, I got the male and non-binary characters. And there was Lucifer, and it was Angel, and it was, Serpentious, and, a bunch of others. And I got to pick, okay, which ones do I want to submit for? And so Angel and Serpentious were the most interesting to me, and that I felt okay, let me do those. And reading the script for it was just fucking hilarious. Especially Angel, I remember one of the first lines is all right, listen up, you flat-chested hoe. If you want me to stay in your hotel, I will need at least 2 bidets. And I was just what the hell is this? So my initial reaction was just oh my God, this is funny. And this also, there was a lot in the script that just said to me it had a lot of heart to it. So I was excited. To submit for it.
I love it. Amir, how about you?
I got an email that said audition for this role. It's like Bert Healy, and I was like, oh, I've played Bert Healy, and then I did, and I had no sense of what the show was. Didn't care. I was like, all right, it's a thing. I don't know what this is. I'll just do it, and then if I get it, then I'll care.
Right. What a healthy mentality to have. I love that.
I mean, you kind of have to, otherwise you go insane, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
You face a lot of rejection as an actor.
We auditioned for a lot of stuff, but I do remember with this one when I read it, similar to what Blake said, I was like, what is this? And also I remember clocking being I do hope I book that, whatever it is, after I auditioned for it, because again, we're auditioning for so much animation, week to week. And so you see something, you audition, you send it off, you don't think about it again. But this one I remember being I hope I get that, which is pretty cool that I got it.
I actually stumbled upon the pilot of Hazbin Hotel in 2020.
Oh, no way.
Peak pandemic, just spiraling. And through the haze of marijuana in my apartment, the YouTube algorithm brought Hazbin Hotel, the pilot, to me, and it was just religious trauma and musical theater. So sign me up. And I watched the show, and it was so good. It was so, I was just like so moved by it. I thought it was so creative. I thought the animation style was so exciting, and I'd never seen something like it before. So, and animation is something I've always wanted to get into, but I'd never had the opportunity. Something I'd auditioned for a lot, but it never came my way. I live in New York City, and so the animation industry isn't like super huge there. And then I had an opportunity. My friend Andrew Butler, who's a composer, wrote the song Ballad of Stryker that's on Hell of a Boss. And he hired me to sing the tenor part. And he reached out to me like, hey man, I'm doing this show, it's called Hell of a Boss. I don't know if you've heard of it. I was like, Hell of a Boss? Hell yeah, I want to do it. That'd be so great. And so I did that gig, and it went really well. And then after that session, they were like, you should audition for Hazbin. And at the time, I was actually doing a musical with Krystina. We were doing a production of Mystic Pizza at Agunquit Playhouse in Agunquit, Maine. And I was like, hey, Krystina, you do a lot of cartoons. Help me, coach me. So she coached me on the audition. And,
I did.
And I read it, and I just fell in love because Valentino's so chaotic.
I truly told him, I was like, be as crazy as possible.
Yeah, be your most id self. So, and now I'm here. Yeah.
I think I might have been in my bathroom when my agent texted me, like, we really need to hear back from you about this offer we have for you for Hazbin Hotel. And I was like in the midst of Baby Shark, and she's like, we really think it'd be good for you to step away from some children's programming and just like change the narrative a bit. And so I was like, I watched a bit of it, and I was like, are you sure? Like, 'cause it was such a drastic change. And she's like, yes, we need to do this. And I saw the amount of views, and I was like, okay, all right. But then I watched it, and I don't know, it was just so fucking fun. And I saw Erica was attached to it, and I think she's so talented. And I was just like, oh, this is gonna be good. Anytime animators or people in animation hire Broadway people to do anything, I think they're really smart. Because we're so expressive with our voices in general, we have to reach the back of the house, and like we're so skilled to use our voice, especially if we're singing. So I'm like, oh, this is gonna be epic. So yeah.
I had been working with Viv making songs for Hell of a Boss for about a year and a half, and the entire time I knew Hazbin was kind of looming because A24 had optioned it, and I was just sort of waiting for them to start and waiting to see if maybe I would get a call or an email about it. And I was just like so anticipating it that when it finally happened and Viv was like, hey, you know, we're about to start Hazbin, I'd be interested for you and Andrew to come aboard and do it. I had to kind of play it cool, and I was like, oh yeah, I mean, I think that would be pretty cool. I think, you know, I just feel like we creatively work pretty well together, so I think that's a pretty good decision. And then I called my wife. I was like, yeah, got the call! Like, I was so hyped. So I was very, very happy when that came in.
I love that, very casually as well. I don't know any of you personally, but I've just fallen in love with more of you from your answers.
Not
I'm like,
all.
aw, I love them.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Amir, this question is selfishly for you, because Alistair is one of my favorite characters in the show. Right. So, at the end of season 1, he's still shrouded in a bit of mystery, without spoiling anything.
As if we could.
Hold on, let me watch the way I phrase this. How much more do you know about Alistair's background than we do, or are you kept in the dark throughout the process?
So I was led into some of his backstory during season 1. Some of what I was led into during season 1, you will see in season 2.
So you know stuff that we don't.
I've also been let in on stuff about him that you won't see in season 2.
So you know a lot that we don't know.
There's also things about him I don't know.
Right.
And there were things that happened in season 2 that I was not told about during season 1, which surprised me.
Oh.
How'd I do?
That was good.
That's good.
Okay.
Right. Whether or not I hand you a $50 bill later on and ask you a few more questions is beside the point.
Wait, Amir, that was funny.
Sam, I
Physical
have
comedy.
Sam, I have two mini questions for you, and then more of a meaty question, if you will. I think one of my first mini questions is, you've written so many of the songs for Hazbin Hotel, if not all of them, correct?
I've co-written every song for Hazbin Hotel.
A round of applause, please.
I know Spotify Wrapped is about to come up, and I am sorry.
Okay, second question. What was the first song you wrote in the series, and what was the last song?
Ooh. Well, for season 1, we did a lot of it chronologically. The first song we started was More Than Anything. Yeah. Yes. It's so funny, by the way, since the show has come out, so many people have just walked up to me and diagnosed me with daddy issues.
Great.
Which it's and looking back at the music that I write, also on Hell of a Boss, You Will Be Okay. There are so much of the material I've written for both of these shows have to do with your relationship to a parent or as a parent that I didn't put together until after the show came out, and people were like, wow, you really have some stuff to work out. So More Than Anything was the first one that we started, although the first one that we finished was Poison. And the last one was the finale song because it had to have so many different pieces of different characters' musical identity, and we really needed to get to know everyone. And beyond that, we were also recording at the time that we were finishing the songs. So we would be recording, episode 1 while we were finishing the music for episode 6. So while we were doing it that way, we knew that we had the opportunity to finish the later songs chronologically later. So we got to save the finale for the end, which I felt was appropriate.
Wow. I think that's rare chronological order these days. I'm actually impressed with that. Wow. Krystina, something about beautiful.
You're
They
beautiful.
You're
all were
beautiful as well. Krystina,
Dad, stop drinking, Dad.
Krystina, obviously everyone in the show has a unique voice and accent that they use. I want to know where the inspiration came from for Cherry Bomb's voice and accent.
Yeah, the audition for Cherry Bomb, it said on the bottom, Australian accent.
Okay, this is what I was curious.
So,
I was like,
yeah, Viv wanted that, and I, every time we get an audition, sometimes you get a little character, and then you get a description, and I looked at her, and I was like, oh, wow, I hear her in my voice. Sometimes you see them, and you just hear what it's gonna be. And I actually find that to be the best time for those auditions. You just go with your impulse, and then I like doing an Australian accent. Me and Joelle have spent many years as friends, just that's the accent we fuck around with each other using.
I'm not actually Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
I'm actually Australian.
Yeah, we have something to tell you. We're from Australia.
Just say I'm Latino for work.
Yeah, me and Joelle fuck around with that a lot, so it was in my bones a little bit. So yeah, I don't know, and I saw her as just this fucked up crazy girl, and I had not seen the pilot, and I purposely didn't go and watch it, because I was I don't want to get someone else's idea of an amazing character that exists already. I want to put my own spin on it without feeling do you know what I mean? So that's sort of
Yeah.
how I approached her. And I also auditioned at that time for Nifty and Vaggie, and my Nifty audition, I went back and listened to it, was so bad. It was so bad. I missed the mark fully. I will never show it to you.
I want to hear all of your auditions. Oh my God.
Never.
I love it.
Never.
Blake, both Angel Dust and the work you put into the character have gotten so much love from the community and the fans. When you started working on Hazbin Hotel, how did you think the show and your character were going to be received?
I mean, purposefully, when it comes to, I've said this a lot today, but when it comes to the work that you put into a project, I don't think it behooves you as an actor to expect or hope for there to be any sort of type of reaction. I mean, what you should aim for is to be satisfied with the work that you put into it. You know, did I do my best at that given time, or did I not? And then when it's out there, it's for everybody else to do with whatever they want. And it has been like so absolutely wonderful realizing just how much, you know, Angel, I know how much he means to me, seeing that that's, you know, reflected in the fandom as well has been like one of the best things about doing these cons is seeing the ways in which people, you know, feel their life is mirrored or feel less alone because of of seeing, you know, Angel's story and stuff like that, or just people who really love him because of the batshit stuff he says, you know, so. You know, I wasn't hoping for anything. Obviously, I always just hope that it's a positive impact that the art, you know, can have on people's lives. And I mean, that's an understatement when it comes to the, you know, the impact that Hazbin has been having on people's lives. You know, it's definitely changed our lives, and I'm happy that it's like changed the people who love the show's lives too.
Right. What about the Egg Boys?
The Egg Boys. Oh man, I just think they need to get the message out that bank accounts are a scam created by the shadow government. You know, like more people need to know. I love the Egg Boys. I fucking love that.
That was the real question. I was just nervous about asking it first, so I had to like layer it with something nice.
No,
You know what I mean?
I saw somebody at this was the first con that I saw somebody dressed up in like a full ass like
Oh, that was amazing.
egg, you know? Like, no, it was fucking great. I don't know if anybody watches Over the Garden Wall, but you know that episode, the episode where the one girl's like, I'm an egg, and the other girl's like, we all know, like, she literally looked like her. I was like, damn, you really went out, like you went all out. You are an egg, like.
I love it. I love it. Joel, we're gonna move on to you. I have two questions for you. In the Hazbin Hotel universe, there's definitely, I would say, more than one villain type of character, and I feel like I could classify Valentino as potentially one of them. No offense to you.
Sure. Accurate.
A lot of actors say playing the villain is the most fun. So the first question is, would you agree with that? And second, a little follow-up question for that is, if you had to compare Valentino to a live-action villain, who would it be?
Ooh, okay, interesting. Okay, number one, wait, what was the question?
Question
if I like
number
playing
one.
a villain?
Is playing a villain more fun?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's so much fun. He's so, or rather, like, when I auditioned for the show, all I got was the very first scene that you meet Valentino, and he's just sort of like tearing up his apartment because Angel Dust moved out, and he's just very like petulant and a baby and really funny. He has like all these great one-liners. So I was like, great, this is such a fun, sassy, silly boy that I get to play. This is so great. And then we don't get the scripts until like the day before you record. And so I remember when we got to the 4th episode, I was like reading through the script, and I was like, okay, that's funny. And I was like, oh, that's, okay, and then it's like, oh, it goes into the dressing room, and now, oh, wow, this is really, okay, we're going there. And so as an actor, it was actually kind of exciting. It was really cool to feel like, and to be encouraged as a performer to play the truth of the scene. And it's not being played down to. It's not being made light of. I think it's a cool shift in the season when I think the show really is not afraid to talk about real issues. And as an actor, that was a really fun challenge to play the truth and honesty of that moment. And you know, we did it. And then I went home, and then I put it away. And so it's also just a lot. I like that a character like Valentino is so polarizing, that it's like people either love him or they hate him, and I'm like, great. I'd rather that people have a really intense reaction to him than just be ambivalent about it. than just be like, oh, who was Valentino? Like, who is that character? Great. I love that there's sort of a nice, you gotta love him or you hate him, and it's fun. I have like such a blast doing that.
You will be known regardless.
Totally.
I love it.
And it's so fun. I mean, I loved Jafar. I loved Ursula. I love Scar. Like, I miss the days of just like these delicious, horrific villains. Now all the villains are like generational trauma.
It's not my fault.
The villain is myself. I'm like, no, it's so fun to just be like, sing Poor Unfortunate Souls and just like trash the place, you know?
I love it.
Yeah.
Kimiko, it is speculated and rumored in the Hazbin Hotel community that some of the demons and characters physically embody some of their personality traits that they had as humans or as living creatures. If that were true, why do you think Nifty only has one eye? And do you think your reasoning would relate to Cherry Bomb also only having one eye?
What?
Right. I took my time with that question. Do you see that?
What creature only has one eye? I know. Is that something that exists?
A real creature?
A real life creature?
A real cyclops?
Yeah, maybe
I'm
she
sure
was like
there's
a
like a
baby
fish
cyclops.
somewhere.
Yeah, there's got to be a fish.
No, guys, no.
What?
No.
God,
Let us think.
yeah, I don't fucking know.
That's fair. That's also a fair question.
Yeah.
But I think the deeper question is why would Nifty only have one eye? Like what's
She got it stabbed in a previous life.
oh
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
She only has one eye because of generational trauma.
The true villain returns.
guys, season
true
season
villain.
2, episode
true
7 of Nifty's generational trauma. It's gonna be wild.
Do you think the cockroaches ate it?
There's a
my
genus of animal called the copepods that are a tiny water-dwelling animal that has one eye. There's also a possum called Basil at the Virginia National Zoo.
But that's not on purpose.
I'm Basil.
Thank you, Blake.
We'll
Yes,
brainstorm the real answer to that at another time. Sam, I want to pop back to you for a second. For the music of Hazbin Hotel, is there a timeline like per song, or was there like a grand timeline of like all the songs have to be done by this date? How does that work?
Man. So for season 1, I think we didn't like. I think when we were doing season 1, we didn't realize when we started like what the timeline was. We were like, oh, cool. Like Andrew and I, who were mainly collaborating over Zoom for much of season 1, because Andrew's in New York. And we were like, oh, yeah, cool, here's a fun idea. Oh, you want to get back together next week? And then I remember us getting an email and being like, oh, we should get all of these done in the next like 10 weeks. And that was really what it was. It was around 10 weeks for all 16 songs.
Holy
Yeah.
Dang.
It was very intense. And I really do credit that with like honing our abilities as songwriters too. Because something that I've talked a lot to people who've stopped by the table is the idea of inspiration has like completely gone out the window for me. There's no longer any idea of like, let me take a walk around the neighborhood and see if inspiration strikes. There's none of that. It's really just Andrew and I like aggressively improving at each other until one of us has an idea where we're like, we're like, oh yeah, I think Alistair would sing that way. And so much of it just became play-based improv that we were like committing to immediately and not trying to edit ourselves while we were writing. We would try to like write as much of a song as we could before we even second guessed a word in that song, because we were like, if we put on the editing cap, we're never gonna get this song done, and we have a timeline. And it really honed our abilities to get songs done fast and to not have to wait for like, I wonder when life is gonna just hand me an idea. There was just none of that.
Follow-up question, when do you sleep?
When do you sleep?
When do I sleep? Oh my God, not enough.
Right.
Because also I've got a 5-year-old too, who wakes me up first thing in the morning and is like, Dad, I want chocolate milk. So
I love it.
Yeah.
So we've gotten to my favorite part of this panel, where I get to stroke everyone's egos and run our panelists' resumes so that they don't have to. This will pertain to the next question. I just want to give everybody some context of these amazing people. Blake, a few years ago, you made your Broadway debut in the show Harmony. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's great.
Clap for the man, please.
Hey, that's cool. Thanks, guys.
Amir, while not having any Broadway credits that I know of, I don't think, your IMDb page is insane.
Yeah, insane.
Amir is the hardest working man in Hollywood.
Insane.
It's wild. I have The Circle, wait, hold on, I lost my place.
The
It's so
Comeback.
long. Legally Blonde 2,
Got cut
What
out.
to Expect When You're Expecting, and
Tanked.
endless others.
LA to Vegas.
LA to Vegas, so good.
1 season.
Good season. Good season, though. It was a good season.
How I Met Your Mother.
Just, it's endless, so go look it up. Krystina, your Broadway credits include American Idiot, Vanden in American Psycho, Gretchen Wieners in Mean Girls. Very cool. Joelle, you played like 5 roles in The Fun Home on Broadway, did you not?
I did. Fun Home. Fun Home. Fun Home.
Right.
Fun Home.
And also, Kimiko, Dawn Pickett in The Waitress on Broadway.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And of course, Orange is the New Black. Duh, you know that. Right. Sam, you also write music for Hell of the Boss and also do a lot of voice acting. You moonlight, is this, right?
I have done some voice acting.
Right, in franchises like Pokemon.
That is true.
And also Trolls.
Yes, yeah.
So for our last question before we get to our Q&A over here, I want to go down the line and we'll start with Blake again. What is the main difference between performing on, let's say, a Broadway stage or on screen as opposed to the work that you've done in Hazbin Hotel? Are there differences, and what are the main differences? And then I guess for Sam, what are the differences in the music that you've written specifically for Hazbin Hotel as opposed to other franchises and whatnot?
Yeah. Starting right off the bat, let's say here's animation, here's, like TV and film, like on camera stuff, right? Like that's all in one kind of territory. And that's all art or media that is intrinsically like made in post, in the editing of it. And so how you act for the edit is different for how you act for the stage. In the stage, you're rehearsing for a long period of time to perfect a performance, to be, distill it down to the essence of the character that you want to do day in and day out, 8 shows a week. In TV and film and animation, you're trying to give the director as much varied takes as possible so that when it comes to editing, dependent upon the other takes that they have and how they've edited the scene up until that point, they're like, cool, let's take the B take because I think that will flow better in the line of the scene. So that's the biggest consideration, in terms of like variance from form, different forms. So for me, it was a learning experience,
Right.
because I had only done theater, and it's really fun because I'm like, I get to be there and say like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do my A take like one way, and then B take, I'm gonna just like fucking wing it, like, like let me just see what comes to my mind. But it's cool, you have to get very versed in trusting, your own spontaneity and improv. That's why improv for TV and film specifically, for everything is so important, but TV and film, at least in animation, it's like very beneficial to just trust your improv gut.
Very nice. Amir?
A very similar answer for me. Like you, the biggest difference, the most valuable thing you can do as a voiceover artist is be able to make wildly different, strong choices to give the directors and editors the opportunity to create something in the edit, as Blake was talking about. And so when you're doing a movie or a TV show, it's so important to sort of be present with your scene partners. But when you're doing voiceover, it's really about like, okay, what's a different, incredibly deep choice, incredibly wild choice, incredibly interesting choice, so that they can cobble together what they find is going to be the most interesting edit.
For me, I think the biggest difference that I found that I love and why I love both mediums, stage and voice acting, is that you have preparation time on stage that you absolutely do not have with voice acting. When you're doing a Broadway show, you're preparing for weeks on end and learning your lines and feeling it, and every night it changes and you get to try it again the next day. With voiceover, you get your episode the night before you read it, you try to figure it out as quickly as possible, you go in and you just do it, and then you're done and you see it 2 years later. And you're like, oh yeah, like, and so that is the biggest difference for me, and it makes you make bold choices because you're like, I have one shot at this. So throw away all that ego stuff of like, I gotta think about, what is it? Just do it. And it feels really freeing in the booth because you have no choice but to just make a choice, which I love.
For me, the biggest difference is like because Broadway is one version of performing on stage, yet as a working actor, it's very few and far between that you actually perform in a Broadway show. So you spend your time doing off-Broadway, regional theater, and kind of doing a bunch of different, I've done a ton of different shows. And what's wild is like even the amount of audience that's currently right here in this theater is probably the amount of audience that would be during the entire run of an off-Broadway show that I do, and I'd be like, that was the best performance of my life, and only like 300 people saw it. And so what's wild is like when you do a show like Hazbin that has this like global reach, it's like, I've never been a part of something that so many people care about, that has such a wide reach, that is also so much more accessible than doing theater, where it's about location, who can afford to make a trip to New York City to come see this play. So even the fact that I've had like family members that have seen Hazbin Hotel who have never seen me in a play because they live in Puerto Rico or they live in Florida, or like they can't afford a trip to go to my house. So the fact that like you're able to share your work with such a wide audience, for me, that's the thing that's just been like blowing my mind, because that's all as an artist, that's all you want, is to make stuff that people respond to and that people care about. And for more people to have such a wide reach is just wild.
I think with animation especially, it feels like a true collaboration when you're creating a character, because you're only giving life to a voice, you know? You're giving away so much of the creative process to like create a three-dimensional character to the creators, like especially in terms of Nifty, like so much of Nifty was post like creativeness and inspiration, because like she says not a lot, you know, and she exists always, you know, and so much of that was not me, and it was just such an incredible surprise to watch her come to life in that way, and it wasn't me, you know, and it's like so much of her brilliance I have to attribute to like the creators. They did such an amazing job. But yeah, I mean, you like you said, you can just sort of like do as much as possible to create this like big crazy character. They'll edit it down to be as grounded as it needs to be, or you know, they can figure out like, you know, you go back for ADR, go back for pickups or whatever to fill it in. But it's just a totally different experience than theater, because you literally just like poof, let it go, and then it's gone, and then you don't see it for 2 years. So it's a very different experience, but you use your theatrical training and your chops to like to give it life in that big, bold way.
From the perspective of songwriting, to compare the two, I mean, when I'm not songwriting for the Helliverse, the other songwriting I do is I co-write songs for a band called The Living Tombstone. And thank you. And there's obviously the difference in inspiration, as I mentioned earlier, about like just being able to kind of wait and take your time and wait until something strikes you when it comes to writing for The Living Tombstone. But a big part of it is also audience, in that for The Living Tombstone, we're very conscious that like it is going out to the audience, and like how do we want people to feel, how would we like people to relate to us, and what do we want them to glean from a song. Whereas Andrew and I never think about the audience for Hazbin Hotel, because there is an audience of one, and that is Vivienne. And because this is so creator driven, and we really see our jobs as like doing the best possible job in service to her auteur vision. It is always about like, what is this gonna make Vivienne think? What is this gonna make her feel? How is this going to reflect her ideas for who Valentino is? Like that kind of thing is always at the forefront, is the fact that this is such a creator-driven property.
I love that. So we're going to move on to some audience questions. I want to emphasize to all of my audience members this should go without saying, but obviously be as respectful as possible. Don't say or do anything weird, please. This reflects on me and it reflects on you. These are normal people. So, but when you do ask your question, say your name and then go ahead and ask your question. So go ahead.
Sorry, I'm as short as Nifty. My name's Marissa. I met a few of you already. Hi.
Hi.
I was gonna ask, can each of you do an impression of your favorite character from the show, or even from Helluva Boss?
Of a different character?
Yeah, a different character, like your favorite one.
You were doing Angel this morning, remember?
You were like, no, it's terrible. Hey, I'm Angel Dust. Crack is expensive. Honestly, it's spot on.
Yeah.
It's spot on. Spot on.
If
literally,
I
it's
close
spot
my
on.
eyes, I would think that's Blake.
Yeah.
He was doing that last night. It was just so fucking funny. I'm like, it's so good. Wait, I want to hear you do it, Krystina.
Do what?
Do the angel.
I can't do Angel Dust.
Try. Everybody do Angel.
Okay, everyone do
Everyone's
Angel.
doing
Everyone.
Angel Dust.
Okay. Crack is expensive.
A+, no notes. We love
I
it.
can't do it.
I'm Angel Dust and I do porn.
Oh, that's good.
That was good.
Don't encourage him.
That was actually terrifyingly good.
That was good. Kimiko?
Wait, what did you say the other day? What up, nerd?
Oh, what up, Ned? Yeah.
What up,
or whatever,
nerd? Whatever, nerd.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
That was terrible.
I love it.
Oh God.
Sam does great impressions of all of us.
Yeah.
Can I just say?
Do like a Vox.
When we get demos,
I know.
he's doing all of our voices and it's amazing.
That is actually one of my favorite parts of the job is I get to impersonate all these people when I do the demos.
You know what? No, fuck this. You're doing all 5 of us.
Yeah, do us
no.
all.
I'm sorry.
Please.
Do it. Start with Nifty.
No, it's really impressive, honestly.
first.
When I do Nifty stuff, I'm like, I just try to live up here in like a very breathy place, and like I end up sounding very much like a Muppet.
Nice.
Valentino, it depends on if it's like low or high. If it's high, it's kind of up here, or if it's low, I love that like low octave thing you do. For Cherry, it's just a lot of nari. It's just a lot of it and a lot of this and that. Alistair is, he kind of does the thing when he does the stuff when he does things up here. And, obviously, as we all know, hey, I'm Angel Dust over here. Just like that.
I love the extra burliness to your Angel Dust, actually.
Yeah, he's from New York.
Angel Dust has had a life.
Wow. That was everything I needed.
so
I will
entertaining
sleep
for
well
me.
tonight.
body was made to be
Thanks so much.
exploited.
Thank you for your question. Next question, please.
Hi there. My name is Faith. I met you guys with my mom while she was showing you her car.
Sweet car.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh yeah, that's a dope
Mustang.
car.
My main question is for Joel, Kimiko, and Blake.
Hey.
For Valentino, how terrified was he of Nifty? And would Angel Dust use Nifty as bait to get Valentino away from him?
I think Val is very afraid of Nifty, and
As he should be.
because Val is large, Val's tall, Nifty's tiny. It's just too little. It's gonna get into little crevices. I don't like it. I think so. I think Nifty's the actual.
She's the threat.
Yeah, she's the real threat.
I think Angel probably would have used Nifty as bait pre-season 1, and then after season 1, he wants to take care of her. He wants to make sure she's out of danger, So yeah.
He's changed.
I would love to be
Oh my
taking
God,
care
he
of
just fell in love with you a little more.
Oh yeah.
Did you see it? Did you see it?
Hey, does anyone want a paper airplane?
Do not get your eye poked out.
That
just,
will
just so
literally
we don't
kill
have any
someone.
liability on our hands. The front is a little pointy, so just be careful. All right.
Please be good. Ooh, that's good.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Oh, they got a lucky winner.
Good one.
The lucky
by
winner
an
was
imp.
an angel dust too.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Good job, Toots.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That flew impressively far.
Yeah.
That was good.
It was well made, so.
Next question.
Hi there. Hello. Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. My name is Princess. I did meet you, Alistair. And my question is, has there been any lines that you improvised that stayed in the show, or do you mostly just stick to the script?
All of these people improv so much.
Yeah. I have a lot of improv that's in the show that, like stuff. Oh, this.
Joel
wait.
probably has the most.
They were
I
given an
improvise a lot.
18+ warning when they
It
came
is an
in
18
here.
plus warning, so there's stuff.
They did
like,
a
okay,
5-minute
so for
18+
example,
warning.
Episodes, I think it's episode 6 when we're in the nightclub, and there was just like in the script it was just like Valentino's in the VIP section talking. And so when we were doing the session, Viv was like, I actually don't think, like he's just kind of in the background. I don't even know if we're gonna animate it. It's just like have it. I was like, okay, it's just like make up stuff that I'm saying in the VIP room. She was like, yeah. So I was like, you're gorgeous. You're beautiful. Like, how many dicks can you suck? And I was just like, I'm not even gonna use this. It's just like Walla in the background and then it was very prominently animated and featured, and I was like, oh my God.
Do you want to know what's crazy? When I was doing research for this panel and like stalking all of you guys, I was like looking up YouTube clips, and literally that exact clip came up, and I was like, there's no way that was in the script. That was 100% improv, because there's just no way. It was so
Beautiful,
good.
you're gorgeous.
Well, in part because you would, if someone put that in a script, someone along the way would be like, no, you can't put that in the script.
Right. I was like, somebody would have like not signed off on this, and it would not have made the final cut.
I don't know, not for this show though. I
know.
mean, my God, it's like you get your script and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa.
And even all the like Spanish that Valentino speaks was not in the script. That was something that kind of emerged from my first session when he's just like angry in his room, and then they were like, all right, we got that take. Can you just like, I don't know, improvise that he's angry, throwing stuff around, and I started saying stuff in Spanish. Because when I get mad, I say shit in Spanish. and then Viv was like, wait, that's cool. Like, actually, can you do more of that? We're like, okay. So I like put a little accent and started doing more Spanish. And then, that very first day of recording for Valentino, there's like a pass of everything without an accent, and then a pass of everything with an accent. Because I think it was just like, they weren't really sure what would stick, what wouldn't. And then later on, as we continued to record the season, they're like, cool, we're gonna stick with that direction. Like, let's make him expressly bilingual and pepper in some Spanish here and there. But
And
that was
that's
just
on
something that
making
kinda
a
came-
strong choice.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, I just made a choice, and they were like, cool, we like it. Let's keep going. Gracias, amorcito.
Anybody else?
The one that I remember most clearly, it was an improv, and I honestly, I can't remember if it was something that Richard was like, you should say this, or I made it up, but
I blame you for this, you crazy bitch.
that was definitely not in the script.
I love it. I love it. So we have time for one more question. I apologize. It's just we all love them so much. I get it. So we're going to do one more, and then we're going to wrap this bad boy up.
If there's anything you don't get to ask, though, come to our tables. We'll be there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please do. Last question.
Hi guys, my name is Michelle and I have met all of you. Yay.
Hello.
So my question is, what would be your dream Broadway role for yourself and for your character?
Whoa. That's a great question. I feel like I should have said that question. People trying to make me look bad.
I would. Can it be a musical that doesn't exist yet?
Yes.
Sure.
I would love to play the lead in When Harry Met Sally. I think that would be a really awesome musical, actually. And I think a great role for Alistair would be Jafar. Also, I'm Persian, so.
It's a beefy question. Take your time. Stew on it.
I
Stew on it.
think I would love to play Orpheus in Hades Town. Like, I think that would be fun, you know? But I think for Angel Dust, I think he would love to play Gypsy Rose Lee in Gypsy. Like, I think he would fucking love that.
I love that. I love that.
Going in the direction of what Amir said, like what hasn't been done yet, I want to play Selena in Selena the musical. Quintanilla. Quintanilla, not Gomez. Quintanilla. If you don't know who that is, go Google her. Selena
Google
Quintanilla. Selena Quintanilla.
Rewind.
And then as far as Cherry Bomb, I feel like Cherry Bomb would be, if anyone knows the Green Day musical American Idiot, I actually made my Bardo debut on that. She would be a sick St. Jimmy, I think. Yeah.
I was gonna make that suggestion if you didn't say it. I was like, she's an American Idiot.
For sure.
Duh.
I personally would love to play George in Sunday in the Park with George.
I'll do it with you.
That's like a dream role. And then I think Valentino would probably, oh God, who would Val would kind of, he'd be Norma Desmond in Sunset Boulevard. Where the one look, I could break your heart. Yeah. Dramatic.
I think, so I did, for me, I did the world premiere of this Flaming Lips musical called Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots. And I played Yoshimi, and I think that would be like, you know, a dream role. I mean, I already did it, but like to do it like on a big scale, I think that'd be awesome. And I don't know, for Nifty, I sort of like envision her playing Little Red in Into the Woods, except in this like, twisted version where she ends up eating the wolf. And then maybe becomes the giant. Yeah.
I love that.
Vibes.
I don't have a character, but I would either Seymour or Orin Scrivello in Little Shop, I feel like would be, what a great show.
Me too. You guys, one more round of applause for these incredible human beings. Thank you guys so much. Also, thank you, Anime Pasadena, for having us all here. We hope you have an incredible rest of your con. And also, if you didn't get your ask your question like Blake said, please go visit them at their respective booths. We love you guys. Thank you. Have a good con.